Welcome, focus learners, to this explainer. Today, we're diving straight into the incredibly high-pressure world of project management. You know the environment. It's a space where we are just constantly juggling tight deadlines, competing demands, and diverse teams across the board. But here's the thing. While we obsess over our timelines and our deliverables, mental health, and especially the subtle day-to-day well-being of our peers is way too often overlooked until it's too late.
So let me just ask you directly, is your team showing signs of strain right now? Like really showing it? Do you actually know how to spot the hidden, super subtle symptoms of workplace strain before they escalate into a full-blown crisis? Often these signs are sitting right in front of us, but we're moving way too fast to even see them. Well, today we're going to change that.
Because honestly, the scale of this problem is absolutely massive. Get this, according to a 2021 Gallup study, a staggering 76% of employees experience burnout at some point in their careers, over 3/4 of the workforce. That means in any given team, a majority of your peers are likely struggling right now, or they will struggle with chronic stress. It really just proves that we must become active, engaged observers of our peers' well-being. It's truly no longer optional.
Okay, so here's our clear roadmap from diagnosis to health for today. First, spotting the hidden signals. Second, burnout and chronic overload. Third, isolation and team disconnection. Fourth, people-pleasing and overcommitment. And finally, reaching the learning zone. All right, let's jump into Section 1, spotting the hidden signals, early warning signs.
The core premise we're looking at here is based on a really brilliant exercise called Spot the Signals. And the idea is simple, but it is so profound. You need to catch the quote-unquote disease of workplace strain early so we can immediately prescribe the cure. Now, you don't need to be a trained therapist to do this. You literally just need to be a perceptive peer. If you can recognize those early warning signs in yourself or in your teammates, you can take small, supportive actions way before performance drops off and people start leaving the company.
Moving right along to Section 2, burnout and chronic overload, the exhaustion trap. Let's look at the breakdown versus the breakthrough. In ambitious project teams, the grim red flags of burnout are practically everywhere once you know what to look for. We're talking about peers skipping their breaks, displaying this sort of emotional flatness, their problem-solving gets totally stuck, and you start seeing frequent, uncharacteristic errors. Basically, everything just takes a lot of time and effort. The highly effective antidote here? Normalizing rest. As the source material bluntly states, there are absolutely no shortcuts with burnout. It is a big flashing signal to hit pause and recharge.
So what can you actually do on a practical level? Here are some specific, actionable steps you can take to treat burnout as a peer supporter. Number 1, actively encourage scheduling non-working blocks right there in everyone's calendar. Number 2, make sure you and your peers are taking regular breaks. Yes, even when a crazy tight deadline is looming. And number 3, and honestly this is a huge one, celebrate logging off on time. The crucial point we need to remember is that recovery is not a luxury and it's not a reward for hard work, it's a fundamental requirement for sustainable performance.
Let's look at Section 3, isolation and team disconnection, the silo effect.
The red flags for isolation can be super sneaky and incredibly damaging. You might notice meetings starting to feel completely hollow or one-sided. Collaboration becomes strictly transactional, and people really hesitate to ask for help. Imagine this vivid mini-narrative. The modern remote worker, sitting alone in a home office, interacting through a glowing screen like a literal robot, rather than a living, breathing human being. Now contrast that grim picture with the antidote, intentionally fostering engagement and investing in relationships. You see, connection just doesn't happen by accident in a remote or hybrid team spanning multiple time zones. It requires actual care and intention.
To fix this, you don't need a massive overhaul. You can just take these bite-sized actions as a peer. Try adding a quick personal check-in to your Friday stand-ups. Just briefly share weekend plans or a small personal win. You can also rotate meeting roles, like who acts as the facilitator or the timekeeper, so everyone gets a voice and feels involved. Or set up virtual coffee chats and peer pairing. Now, I'll be honest, it might feel a little slow to build these habits at first, but over time, they absolutely create the ultimate foundation of trust that high-performing teams thrive on.
Next up, Section 4, people-pleasing and overcommitment. The yes trap.
We all know someone who fits this profile, right? These are the peers who say yes even when they are totally overwhelmingly overloaded. They wear overworking like a badge of honor. They'll meet deadlines at the complete cost of their personal well-being, they dodge necessary conflict, and they have zero boundaries between work and life. And this usually stems from a deep fear of disappointing their leaders. The antidote here? clarifying specific roles and proactively role modeling healthy, visible boundaries.
So, as a peer supporter or even as a leader, you can actually role model these steps to relieve your team's underlying pressure to constantly please others. First, ensure everyone knows their exact responsibilities, because when you know your scope, it makes it so much easier to say no to things outside of it. Second, emphasize working smart, not just relentlessly hard. We want to celebrate smart work that aligns with our actual priorities, rather than just praising someone for keeping their status green until midnight. And third, practice saying no and delegating effectively. When your peers see you doing this, they're going to feel safe to do it too.
Which brings us to our final section, Section 5, Reaching the Learning Zone, the Ultimate Goal. Now, let's map out the magic. This right here is Harvard professor Amy Edmondson's famous psychological safety matrix. It essentially plots psychological safety against accountability. Check this out. When you have low safety and low accountability, your team is trapped down in the apathy zone. They're completely disconnected and disengaged. If you crank up accountability but keep safety low, you fall right into the anxiety zone. And this is exactly where burnout thrives, because people are highly stressed but way too afraid to speak up. The comfort zone, on the other hand, is friendly, sure, but it totally lacks drive. So where do we want to be? We want that top right quadrant. In that top right quadrant, that is the learning zone. This is literally the ultimate picture of health for any project team. It's this beautiful state of both high psychological safety and high accountability. It's an environment where people feel totally safe to speak up, to admit their mistakes and ask for help, but they are also deeply challenged to grow and to deliver real results. In the learning zone, mistakes aren't punished, they're treated as actual learning opportunities, and that is where true innovation just flourishes.
And that brings me to a really powerful quote directly from our source material that I want to share with you. Mental health truly lives only in the learning zone. I absolutely love this because it perfectly summarizes how high performance and well-being are deeply, deeply aligned. They are not opposed to each other. You literally do not have to sacrifice mental health to get great results. In fact, you only get truly great, sustainable results when your team feels safe, supported, and balanced.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a bit of a provocative question to chew on. What immediate step can you take today for your team? Seriously, think about all those red flags we just discussed. Are you seeing burnout, isolation, or chronic people-pleasing around you? I challenge you to choose just one antidote, whether it's celebrating a logged-off evening, maybe adding a quick personal check-in to a meeting tomorrow, or just role modeling a firm boundary and implement it today. You have the power to spot the signals and guide your peers right into the learning zone. Keep learning, keep observing, and I will see you in the next explainer.